You guys know me, I'm Kyle Karges. Welcome to the channel. Here we talk real estate. Today's video is kind of unique because we're talking about an overall topic, but there's so many small moving pieces. We already have some videos, but we will be making lots more videos as we dig deeper because I know you're gonna have questions. Today's video is gonna be real estate investing as a beginner with no money. It's going to be a great topic, but before we jump in, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any content. A new video comes out every Thursday. Like I said, we're going to be talking about real estate investing with zero money. The only negative side of this kind of disclaimer I want to make sure that you're aware of, right, is the less money out of your pocket, the more risk you're giving to other people, right? So from a beginner standpoint, please make sure you're dotting all your I's, crossing all your T's, and running your numbers, and don't go too large for what you know what to do. Because, right, with the more risk, if it doesn't work out, you have other people's money on the line, not just your own. So there's a lot of different parts of this. In order for this to work, you have to know what a deal is, you have to know how to comp a deal, how to run a deal and actually make money, right? If you can't make money, the whole thing falls apart. There's two types of people that actually want to do those type of deals. The first one is a new investor. As a new investor, a lot of the times you don't have very much money or sometimes even no money to start with. Experienced investors also use these strategies because, believe it or not, once you get good at it, you can multiply and grow a lot faster and make even more money for you and the people you work with by using zero of your own money. Also, it allows them to massively multiply their portfolio and their investing because they have already mastered the techniques. Now, that doesn't actually mean there's no money into the deal. We're just talking about zero money out of your pocket. There's always money into the deal, almost always, okay? Someone's money. Now, typically what this is called is OPM, other people's money. Because if it's not yours, it's somebody else. Typically, this is a mix of just different type of lenders, okay? We'll go over the few different types of lenders. There's private money, which is talking to an individual and just having a conversation, and then they loan you money for either a term or a certain period to fix a house, etc., right? People you know. You have hard money lenders, which are typically businesses that charge higher interest rates, but it's what they do. So they're very good at it, and they can protect you from getting into bad deals because they will underwrite their loan they're going to give you based on the property, but they typically don't underwrite you as well. So credit doesn't matter, right? How much money in your bank account doesn't matter. They do require typically a down payment though, okay? The third type, right, would be a regular bank loan. You can go to the bank, 30-year mortgage, right? They have all sorts of options. I do expect in the future to possibly a 40-year to be coming out, but regardless, it's a bank loan, right? We're all familiar with those. Then there's also seller financing. Seller financing is when the seller that you're buying from becomes the bank, right? They either own, the only way that happens is when they own the property free and clear or have a lot of equity, and then they, instead of collecting all their money at once, they allow you to make payments to them, okay? And then another one that's close between kind of seller financing and the bank is what's called subject to or sub to. That's taking over somebody's bank loan, right? So it's a bank loan, but obviously you're dealing with the seller directly to take that over and just make their payments for them, okay? So a lot of times there's a seller financing and a sub to combined as a strategy because they have a bank loan for half of it and then the rest of the home, they have equity. So then you would take over the subject to, the first bank loan, and then break up the rest of their money in payments, okay? Now the last kind that I'll mention is kind of just doing what's called a fund, okay? Now this must be registered with the SEC, it's very regulated, and it provides some major opportunities. Usually this is just experienced investors. You really have to know what you're doing because one, the SEC regulates you on what you can talk about with getting financing, right? Also, if you're handling a whole lot of funds, you better know what you're doing, okay? But so that way, that gives you a great summary of the different types of loans. And typically, the strategies that we're going to go over next is going to be how do we mix these type of loans based on the strategy that you are going to be using. Now, there's lots of different exit strategies, right? Or acquisition strategies, etc. with real estate, such as house flipping, Airbnb, right? Doing the BUR strategy. I'm not going to go into crazy detail what each of these strategies is, but I'm going to use a few of them as an example of how to mix these strategies together with a mix of different type of lenders. So first of all, we do a lot of house flips, so let's go with house flipping, okay? First, you need to, of course, you've already found the house, you ran the numbers. Assuming all of that, in order to buy the house, most of the time, you're gonna go get a hard money loan, okay? That is gonna be that business I talked about, right? Where they charge a little bit extra interest, but they'll generally give you a loan for anywhere between 80 to 90% of your purchase price. Remember, you're buying this house at a discount, but 80 to 90% of that purchase price. And they expect you to come with a down payment. Now, in order to tweak this for $0 out of your pocket, you would need to get a private loan for that down payment, okay? Now, to do the whole strategy, we're not gonna stop there. Once you buy the property, you're gonna have to fix it up, which of course is gonna require more money that you're gonna need to pay for your contractor. And we're not done there yet. You'll have a monthly payment sometimes to these private money lenders unless you structure it to be paid for upon selling the property. You'll have utilities and other expenses. So you would add up all the expenses from your down payment, your construction costs, and all the other items that come together, and that would be the amount that you would get the private money loan for. So you'd be combining those two strategies. After you fix the property, you sell it on the MLS, you would then pay off all the loans and have your profit. Let's do another example. The BUR strategy. Like I said, I won't go into depth on what the BUR strategy fully entails, but it's very, very close to a house flip because the BUR strategy stands for buying, rehabbing, renting, refinancing, and repeating the process. So you're gonna buy it, no different than a house flip, rehab it like a house flip. The only difference is you're not just gonna sell it on the MLS, right, to an end buyer. You're going to then rent it out and then go refinance that through a traditional bank. So it would start off the same way. You'd get a hard money loan, get your private money loan, right? And then you'd go to the bank. And so instead of paying off everyone when you sell the property, you would go get a bank loan to pay them off and refinance it. And then just hold it long term or turn it into an Airbnb. There's two. Now, the last two I want to talk about real quick are not as much my favorite from real estate investing. It's still investing, but you're not owning real estate. My preferred methods are when I own it, so I get the additional benefits of appreciation in owning real estate. But there are two popular ways to invest using real estate with zero money out of your pocket. The first one is going to be doing lease options with wraps. What that means is you're going to go a lease or renting, you're going to go rent a property from someone, get their permission, of course, to then go re-rent that to somebody else, okay? The reason it's called a lease option is because you're not just renting it or leasing it, you're gonna write up in a contract the option to buy it. These are typically, anywhere from 1 to 5 years in length. You have the option to buy that property. So you will be paying them rent, say for 5 years, and at the end of 5 years, you have the option to buy it at a certain price. And then with their permission, you would then take that contract and you would advertise it publicly to somebody else to come in and rent the property from you with their option to buy it. And the reason it's a wrap is because all the new terms you would do with the new buyer would be larger and encompass and wrap around your old smaller terms. So the rent would be higher than the original rent. The purchase price would be locked in at a higher rate to do that as well. You would make the profit between them. So everything is wrapped in. So you technically don't ever own the real estate. You would just be the middleman on paper and you would collect the rent difference. You would usually get a deposit from that new person, which would put money into your pocket. And then you would make the difference on the sales price. Okay, and that took zero money out of your pocket. The last one I'm going to talk about is Airbnb Arbitrage because it is actually kind of so popular for part of the same reasons as lease options and wraps, but you don't have to buy the property again, right? For that reason, it's not my favorite, but if you're looking for an option to make a lot of money leveraging real estate, it is a great option. The way that typically works is, once again, you would go rent a property from a landlord, get their permission, letting them know that you want to run an Airbnb business on their property. The only cost that you would have, right, other people's money though, would be to buy the furniture and get it up and running, okay? So you would then rent it on Airbnb, which would collect a lot more money, and then pay the smaller rent to the current owner of that real estate, and you would make the difference. You would use other people's money, get a private lender to buy the furniture, and pay that off with your profits, okay? So there you go. There's 2 more ways to invest in real estate with zero money. So as a basic recap, in order to invest in real estate with zero money out of your pocket, you are basically going to use different types of lenders. That was private money, hard money, banks, seller financing, subject to, all of those using a mix of them, and then using different strategies as well, lease options and wraps, Airbnb arbitrage, house flips, long-term rentals, and there are lots of other options that you can use. You just have to put in different types of lenders. Hopefully that helps, guys. I know as you're starting to invest, it can be difficult. These ways can help you get in to where you can start making some money, and then you will watch how those things can grow. So don't forget, like and subscribe. A new video comes out every Thursday. We will have different topics, so stay tuned. We'll see you then.